everything. The first thing I want to start off with is something that I think we're going to see more and more of, where Doc Rivers has officially departed, is the terminology they use. He didn't get fired, right? Let's make that clear. He departed. He stepped down as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. The reason I said we probably will see more of this, there's been a lot of rumors around the league that this could be one of the busiest coaching carousels this offseason that we've seen in the last few years of the NBA. There's been, the Bucks, obviously, the Pelicans fired Willie Green in November. Will they keep James Borrego? We'll see. Tiago Splitter obviously did a good job sitting there for Chauncey Billups when all of that happened. Will the Wizards make a pivot? The way that the Magic had just performed against the Celtics really summed up their year. Could Jamal Mosley be on the way out? I got some tweets saying, what happens if the Lakers pull it off against the Rockets? What would that mean for Ime? So a lot of people are anticipating a very busy coaching carousel again in this offseason. But I think this is important to talk about with Doc Rivers because regardless of all of the things that will happen this offseason, whether that's the draft and the draft lottery, trades, coaching movement, the Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo are probably going to be the biggest talking point for everybody. No matter who wins the finals and how that looks, where Giannis is going, the next chapter of him and the Bucks' relationship will dominate this offseason. And so one of the big folds and domino effects in that is Doc Rivers stepping down and them now having a head coaching position opened up. Who that is going to be, I don't know. I read an article this morning where they mentioned Taylor Jenkins. I saw Darvin Ham because he's beloved in that organization. He's been around. I saw James Borrego. So there's a lot of different directions. And then it's also about who is taking over what team. Are you bringing in a coach that is going to have a Giannis Antetokounmpo who recommits and is able to sign a long-term deal and create a new contract situation with Milwaukee? Are you bringing in maybe a younger coach for development because you are or you have traded Giannis Antetokounmpo for a boatload of assets and now you're going to rebuild this team and have a younger timeline? So a lot is going to go into this. One of the things that I don't really think I noticed, though the Bucks struggled this year, when I said out loud to myself that they had 50 losses, I kind of had to reread the sentence or say it again to us. I'm like, man, I know they struggle, but it sounds very weird for the Bucks to have 50 losses. It's just like this is a team that you can almost pencil in 50 wins the last few years because of the level that Giannis played at. That MVP, best of the world caliber, obviously a few years ago was able to win the NBA Finals. Him, Drew Holiday, Middleton, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, just like a really good staple of a team that, again, you could almost write in 50 wins for. And so to see them on the polar opposite of that, right, where just a couple years ago as well, they made the big move for Damian Lillard. We saw how that panned out. And it's just interesting to see the direction of there. And Giannis had the media questions after their last game of the season, where he kind of answered questions for about 10 minutes or so, and some of his answers and everything were telling. And I think it continues to add the speculation that a lot of Buck fans are mad at us, the media, for talking about it, for rumors happening. There's obviously some beef there with Shams. People feel like he's just egging things on, but again, my position is what it's always been with the Bucks and the Bucks fans. Some of these answers that Giannis gave again is what ignites it. And I don't think Giannis is wrong for his answers because there are questions that need answers in the direction of this team. Giannis wants to compete. You know what I mean? Will they be in position for that? Giannis so much flipped one of the questions to one of the reporters where they was asking him, if the money was on the table or, because Giannis at one point was like, hey, by the way, I can't sign something that has not been offered to me. I have not had the contract extension offered, which obviously we all know the Bucks will do the due diligence and make sure that that is on the table eventually for him. But he did let us know that it has not been on the table and has not been offered just yet. And the guy was like, hypothetically, if it is, wouldn't it be hard to turn down X amount of money? And then Giannis kind of flipped it on the guy, like, what would you do? Right? Because you have money, but there is the other side of it where we want to compete. And then it was Giannis saying, like, y'all also give me too much credit and too much power because it's up to my wife. So it's all of these moving parts and elements of like he's not distancing himself from the Bucks entirely, but he's also not committing himself like we used to get from him. And I just think that those details and conversations are what spark all of the rumors and speculation of what's going to happen next. And so that's something I think again will dominate the headlines, especially in the offseason when there's not, so much to talk about. Obviously, free agency isn't the same from about 10 years ago where there was so much player movement. A lot of teams are just extending guys and not even letting guys hit the free agency market. You got the second apron, the first apron. So teams are getting a little bit more smarter with the money, right? And the market is kind of dwindling down, and we're not getting that same type of feel in free agency. So when you have that, you're going to get a lot of rumors for teams to try to figure out how to land that next big star. And if it is Giannis, that will be something that could shift the entire course of the NBA, regardless of who wins the championship and how they win it. If Giannis goes somewhere, it can change the tides. It can change a lot from one conference to another. The favorites, Giannis Antetokounmpo, again, will dominate the headline.